If you're waiting to feel confident before you trust yourself, this video is for you. Because self-trust doesn't come from confidence, it comes the moment you stop abandoning yourself. And in this video, I'm going to show you how you can cultivate more self-trust by honoring yourself, aligning yourself with your own values, and stepping into the new version of yourself. I'm Kelly Kessler. I help you move from self-neglect to self-respect. And before we dive into today's video, I just want to share a free masterclass that I'll be hosting January 22nd. It's the cost of keeping the peace, rebuilding real boundaries. In this masterclass, you're going to learn how you can create safety from the inside out. You're going to learn how to set boundaries without guilt and how to trust yourself again to actually uphold those boundaries. This was such a great masterclass that I presented back in November, and by popular demand, I'm bringing it back this January. So don't miss it and grab your seat today. You can grab the link below and secure your spot. Now let's get back to why confidence is not needed for self-trust. It's actually the other way around. And if you're watching this video, it's likely that you've dealt with some self-doubt. It's likely that you overthink things. It's likely that you feel the pressure to put on that confident face, but yet internally you're wondering, what am I doing? Or am I doing the right thing? There are so many hard emotions that can be dealt with when you feel like you don't trust yourself. And the reason why so many of us struggle with self-trust is because we've learned to abandon ourselves. We've learned to listen to all the outside voices of what we should be doing, who we should be, and trying to meet all the expectations of all the roles we serve. I know I spent years in that, in trying to be the good girl, trying to be the one that holds it all together, trying to be the high achiever, the perfectionist, all these things that I thought I had to do to feel a sense of safety. And in the end, it just left me completely drained and worse off, more disconnected from myself than I've ever been. I can't tell you how painful it is when you are constantly looking outside yourself for what the right answer is. And yet you try to mold yourself into all the versions that people want of you. And at the end of the day, you're wondering, who am I really? Because you've adapted yourself to so many different situations. And I think the biggest cost of this is that we lose trust in ourselves. We lose the ability to feel like we honor ourselves. We lose the ability to feel like we know what's right for us because we've relinquished our power outside ourselves for so long. And maybe you feel that too. Think back to the last time that you were seeking external validation from somebody, hoping that they'd be happy with your decision. Or asking friend after friend after friend of like, what would you do? Did I do the right thing? I don't know. Do you think that was that good? Or how much you made a decision and then went back and like doubted yourself. Like, did I do the right thing? I don't even know. And yet feeling like you're ice skating without any edges, just kind of floundering around without ever having a grasp of the direction to go. It's painful. It's so hard to go through life when you don't have the trust within yourself. And beyond that, it's even more painful when you feel like you don't trust yourself and then you go to other people, other resources, other external sources for that trust. And unfortunately, at the end of the day, not everybody has our best interest in mind. Not every resource is what's right for us. We only have power when we can listen to our internal voice. We only have power when we can filter out all those external resources to know what's actually right for us. And that's where we start to move through life with confidence. And that's why it's absolutely essential to have self-trust in order to feel confident, because you know that you're someone who's going to show up for yourself. You no longer are the person who abandons yourself to make everybody else happy. You're no longer the person who abandons themselves to fill the roles and the expectations of others. You are in your own lane when you trust yourself. You come back home to yourself when you trust yourself. And that is truly the power of self-trust. But what I have found in so many people, and myself included, is that you feel like self-trust is somewhere out there. You feel like it's this huge goal, or it just feels so elusive. Like, how do I actually trust myself? especially when you've spent years not trusting yourself or that self-doubt has become your best friend. And so I want to share with you 3 ways that you can start to trust yourself, 3 tangible things that you can integrate into your life. These are things that I've integrated into my life, and I want to share with them with you. 3 simple ways that you can transform your life, start trusting yourself, and align yourself with what's right for you. Number 1 is you want to create the identity of who you are. Are you someone who sets a goal and then lets it go after a month? I mean, especially this time of year, we're in January right now. You know how many people are setting goals that, unfortunately, given the statistics of it, are going to be gone by the wayside in another month or two? Are you someone who says, oh, I always do that. I always try to start reading and I never finish a book, or I always try to set this goal and then for some reason life gets in the way and I'm back in the same routine? Is that the identity that you're carrying? And this is absolutely not a place to shame yourself if it is. This is a place to recognize it and transform the identity. Some simple thing that you can say to yourself is, I'm someone who shows up for myself. And say that, embrace that. Or I'm someone who follows through with my word. I'm someone who is able to handle what is put on my plate. I'm someone who will always have my back. This identity shift and just the way you view yourself is the first step of recognizing that you are setting that identity. Because the way we identify ourselves is the way we're going to go. If you identify yourself as a slow reader, you're probably going to be a slow reader the rest of your life. If you identify yourself as somebody who's always late, you're probably going to be late for a long time until you change that identity. So this is the opportunity to start to bring that self-trust back into your life and say that I'm someone who shows up for myself. I'm someone who follows through with my word. I'm somebody who holds myself accountable. Change your identity first. Number 2, set small steps to accomplish, like the smallest thing possible. This is not about overarching goals. This is the smallest thing. Maybe it is waking up 5 minutes earlier. That's it. And do that. Maybe it's taking 3 deep breaths during the day at some point. Do that. It's about setting these small goals that are non-negotiable. When you set those small goals and you actually do them and you actually follow through with them, you start to rewire your brain to trust yourself. Your brain starts to say like, oh, I'm someone who actually does follow through my word because I said I was going to do some deep breathing for 7 days straight and I did it for 7 days straight. It actually starts to rewire your brain to shift you into that identity that you created. So right now, I want you to pause this and I want you to think about or write down something you're going to do today. The smallest thing that you could possibly do that you know you will follow through on, and go do that. And then do the same thing tomorrow and the same thing the next day, and start to create this pattern that you are someone who actually follows through on your word. Because after a few months of doing that, that identity that you just created will feel true. It won't only be something that you say in your head, it will feel true because you are showing yourself that you are following through on what you say you will do. And then there's confidence. And number 3, I want you to create an emotional hook to this. Create some emotion around this. So if it is deep breathing that you're going to do for 3 minutes a day, say, what is the emotional hook on that? What is it that is meaningful to that? So maybe you feel completely overwhelmed, stressed out. Maybe you're losing your crap on your kids or your spouse or your friends, and you're just like, gosh, this is not who I want to be. I am not in a good place. Like, I don't love this version of me. That can feel really emotional, really overwhelming, and feel like that's not someone you want to maintain. So that could be something you could hook into this of like, doing 3 minutes of deep breathing is meaningful to me because I can see how it helps me calm myself so I show up as a version that I actually want to be. Say your goal is to walk for 5 minutes. And in that 5 minutes, you just feel lighter. You feel like you can finally take a deep breath. You're actually enjoying a moment for yourself. It's joyful. It's like the one moment in the day that you feel like you get to really enjoy yourself. That's your emotional hook. So create the emotion around it. Why is it meaningful to you to accomplish this? If you don't attach any emotion or meaning to it, it's just going to be another thing on your to-do list. When you can create emotion around something, that's when you take it out of your mind and into your body. You take it from the mind to the heart and it becomes you. There's a deeper connection to this, and that's what you want to anchor into. So if you feel like you're stuck on the needing to be confident side before you can actually trust yourself, and you're watching all these things and listen to all these things say, just be confident, do this to feel confident, it really comes down to trusting yourself first. It comes down to not abandoning yourself. It comes down to respecting yourself, respecting your word first. And then after you do that, that's when confidence comes. Because when you hold your word for even 7 days straight, you're confident that you could probably do that eighth day. You're more confident that eighth day that you're going to follow through on your word than you were on the second day. You do that for 30 days, you're going to feel more confident that you can follow through on your word on day 30 than you were on the fifth day. So hold your word, identify as someone who can trust yourself, and you will see that your confidence will increase with that as well. You will become a different version of yourself when you tie emotion to it, you hold your word to yourself, and you identify as someone who can trust yourself. You'll not only say it, but you'll learn it and you'll feel it and you'll embody it. And if you want to dive deeper into why self-trust is essential, especially if you're someone who struggles with boundaries or feels like you're drained from giving your energy and resources to everybody outside yourself, I invite you to join my free masterclass in the link below. In that, you're going to learn even more about how to create safety within yourself and how to truly trust yourself without the validation of others. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope this helps.